Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. And on screen, what a specimen, what a taste of the finer things, ingredients in Genshin Impact. I mean, this dude has gotten people riled up since the first time he was teased. Am I wrong? Apart from Scaramouche, Nahida, I guess third one people would have been excited for would have been either Alhaitham or Dehya. I mean, with the way things are going, I don't know how Dehya is gonna turn out. Scaramouche, you know, down and out. Sino, down and out. Nahida was the only one that kind of hit a sweet home run. Now, of course, we can't always be sitting here expecting YaoYaoVerse to drop bombs like Nahida for us to play around with. But Al Haitham, let's be honest, the ban's probably going to be a DPS, okay? For the people who get a little too excited, you know, already digging through next patches, datas, or whatever it is people do, you guys already likely know. But I find it difficult to categorize this guy as anything but a DPS character. Now, on-field, off-field, your guess is as good as mine. I would like to lean towards on-field. However, right now, there is a character in the Dendro category that already takes up that spot, and that is Tighnari. And to be fair, Tighnari is pretty strong, especially since Nahida's arrival into the game, funneling that much more EM back into his kit. I think a 250 or something like that. Yeah, that guy is just on cloud 9. He is doing insane amount of damage, and I think anybody who has him, even at C0 with the free-to-play weapon, as long as you have Nahida, you're gonna be cruising. That guy is like starting to get to the level of like some Ganyu Hu Tao levels of DPS, but it really depends on how much investment you want to put towards the Dendro meta. Right now, Al Haitham, talking about this guy, if he's coming into the game and he's going to be rivaling Tighnari in the on-field DPS position, it's possible, but that means they have to design him around likely spread aggravate, that type of playstyle, right? Because offensive options in the Dendro category, you really don't have that many options. It's really just spread aggravate, unless you want to go for some sort of Burning Virgin comp. But is he gonna be the first piece, or is Dehya gonna be the first piece? I'd imagine 3.5 or 3.6. Dehya has to be right around the corner, right? So we don't know. Now currently another option with this dude, like this is way out there, way out there, because it's another character coming out in patch 3.4, and that is YaoYao. Oh my goodness, this character. I remember people were talking about YaoYao when like Zhongli just arrived in the game or something like that. It was so damn long ago that I damn near forgot about this character, and it just shows that YaoYaoVerse has been doing this stuff way in the back. Now, here's the thing about YaoYao, okay? Also a Dendro character, which is interesting. 2 Dendro characters coming out next patch. So this is the thing I was saying that is a little out there, right? What's the likelihood of YaoYao being a Dendro buffer? I don't know. Probably unlikely. She's probably just going to be a Dendro healer, which, because like we really need one. The Dendro healer spot right now is just vacant, and if you want to make her a Dendro Bennett, sure, but don't hold your breath on it, people. Look at what they've been doing with the 4 stars. Unless YaoYaoVerse has a sudden change of heart, YaoYao is likely going to be a very average character at C0. She's going to fill a niche, a much needed niche. Utility wise, it's going to be great, even at C0, because we don't have anything, right? It's only going to be the characters that follow YaoYao that kind of fall into the same category, being like, oh, a Dendro 4-star healer support kind of deal. Then we're going to start seeing things being like, oh, it's not worth it. But right now, I think picking up even a C0 YaoYao is going to be great for most people, mainly because of her Dendro elemental typing, as well as likely filling up the niche of a healer. Not confirmed. I mean, even if she's not a healer, even if she's like a Dendro buffer, like for whatever reason, still a niche that is currently, I wouldn't say it's needed, but is welcomed in some teams. Just saying, like for people who didn't pick up Nahida, maybe running YaoYao with Tighnari could end up working. I don't know, but running triple Dendro just doesn't seem like a good idea. Let's say if you're running Al Haitham or Tighnari and you're running Nahida with them, because I'm assuming you're going to be running Nahida with them, right? Like you run Nahida with everybody nowadays. And then you run YaoYao? what's gonna be in your fourth slot, right? Like you can't swirl, you can't do it much. Like I mean, you have to run an electro. You have to run an electro. It's probably gonna be official, maybe beta, depending on what YaoYao actually does. Yeah, so like it's incredibly limiting, honestly. So that team composition likely won't work, which makes me wonder: is YaoYao going to lay the foundations also for burning? Because if Al Haitham, let's go back to Al Haitham here for a second, right? This is just speculations, people. I don't look at the crazy stuff, but if Al Haitham isn't going to focus on burning and he's going to be the more traditional on-field damage carry type, then YaoYao has to be somewhat leaning to a different spectrum of playstyle. And that's why I think if she's going to be a healer, she can maybe apply a decent sized AoE, apply some Dendro, and heal your units. Like very simple, like Diona, like Bennett, stuff like that. I mean, you can get creative by applying marks on yourself, kind of like the Kuki Shinobu way. Apply stuff on yourself, and whatever character you switch in, you end up healing them. That could work as well. Now, depending on the speed of her application, she likely could be slotted into some decent double Dendro burning comps down the line, because once your on-field character becomes Pyro, like let's say Dehya, and then you run Nahida, and then you run YaoYao, you still get that double Dendro on your team, right? Because we actually don't have that many options apart from Nahida, Dendro MC, and Kale. So the other two don't really fit the healer category, and having a Dendro healer pairing with Nahida leaves the final slot open to be something much more flexible. Like you can bring a Nemo, you can bring Geo, you can bring Hydro, you can bring whatever the hell you want. It's just more flexible. Now the reverse can also be true. Like, oh, I can bring Kale in the fourth slot, then I can bring a healer in the Hydro category, I can bring a healer in the Pyro category, right? I mean, healer in Geo if you have C4 Goro, like, you can get some really weird stuff going on, but it's just better to have the Dendro healer because it knocks out the requirement, and some of the stronger characters in game are like the support characters, right? So leaving that fourth support slot open as opposed to the fourth healer slot open is going to be quite important when you're trying to ooze out a little bit of that extra damage that you want towards the end there. Finally, I just want to summarize my expectations for this stuff. I think keep them tempered, people. I can't think of any particular reason HoYoverse would want to make Al Haitham, YaoYao incredibly valuable. I think they definitely should be pieces of puzzles that fills the whole thing, if that makes any sense, right? They want each character to somehow incentivize another character, whether it be playstyles, synergies, or if you're a whale, damage ceiling increases. Is Al Haitham going to be a strong standalone character that doesn't really need any other of the Dendro characters that's been released or is coming down the line? Likely not, right? So like he's going to be heavily synergizing with the recent units. So if you skip Nahida, I don't know how good of a character this is going to be for you. I mean, sure, you have Kale, you have Dendro MC. I'm sure he will work, because at the end of the day, Dendro elements, they kind of can't function by themselves, and I don't think HoYoverse will likely lean towards that. That's why I say it's very far-fetched for him to receive YaoYao as a buffer for him, because the strength of Dendro has always been in its reactions. That's why I think HoYoverse will really just hammer home the idea that, okay, this guy's going to be playing in a likely quick swap reaction team with electro characters. Now, depending on how much his burst costs, you likely could run Raiden as a secondary DPS option, and Nahida just drops down to the support position, and then maybe run, I don't know, if he scales off of attack, run a Bennett. If he scales off EM, you have Nahida, then you can just bring like a Hydro, like Kokomi. Or you can run no healer and bring Zhongli, shred more resistances both for Raiden as well as for Al Haitham. There's a lot of things you can play around with for this character, which I think it's always nice getting a newer character in the DPS position, not a hyper carry, but just the DPS position, because it allows you to run multiple points of damage oriented carries, such as Raiden, and Raiden filling up bursts for characters is just a given at this point. And guess what? She's in 3.3. So, hey, people, maybe it's a good idea to pick up a Raiden Shogun for yourself, considering a Dendro carry is coming up next. Raiden C0 could be played as a hyper, could be played as a driver, could be played as a support DPS, could be played at a burst support. She can do a lot of things. I'm just saying this is a great character for you to pick up, and synergy wise, she is just as open-ended as Nahida, as Zhongli. We're not going to talk about Venti, but these three Archons are incredibly valuable, and I can see them, going forward supporting a bunch of different team comps, sometimes maybe on the same team. Like maybe we'll have 3 Archons on Al Haitham's team. Maybe it'll take 3 Archons to lift up Al Haitham. Like, King, you drop this, right? Hand him his crown, let the man do his thing. But that's gonna be it from me. I'm actually pretty excited. Tignari turned out pretty good once Nahida came out. I'm sorry, side note, but Tignari is just the premier DPS since Sumeru has came out. The man just keeps giving, gotten better. So yeah, people, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you're going to be pulling for Al Haitham. Likely, I hope you guys are going to be picking up 1 copy of Raiden Shogun combined with the Nahida that you guys already have. Your account's already set. You guys are on your way to succeeding in Genshin Impact. Okay, I mean, take it lightly, it's a joke. Everybody succeeds in Genshin Impact. Until next time, urge you all to stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye.